but we're engaging, not enraging.
Across the state of Wisconsin, Daybreak with Brian and Jamie is back.
It's 6:22 right now. We hope that you are having a great morning. Thank you so much for joining us on the Civic Media Network. I am Jamie Martinson.
And good morning, I'm Brian Noonan. We're glad you're here. Wisconsin lawmakers actually working together for once. Not for once, but rarely do we see it. We love it, though. Wisconsin has expanded its missing child alert system under a law connected to the Prince Act. If you don't know about the Prince Act, it was named after Prince McCree. He's a 5-year-old Milwaukee boy who was killed in 2023. The original law was passed to fill gaps in the alert system here in Wisconsin after officials were unable to issue an Amber Alert when Prince went missing because they lacked information about a subject. So it's good to see this. One, it's good to see Republicans and Democrats working together for something that actually has real world consequences and will help, children and families. So this is good, and they've done this before, Jamie. Similar issues have been addressed.
Yes. The law also addressed a case of 10-year-old Lily Peters of Chippewa Falls. Her disappearance did not meet the Amber Alert criteria. Now, the updated law now expands eligibility for missing child alerts to children up to age 12 instead of just limiting those alerts to children under the age of 10. This expansion was possible after the state budget added about $319,000 in funding, as well as 2 staff positions at the Wisconsin Department of Justice, so that somebody could manage this alert system.
Oh,
and
this
is where they're using the surplus. They're working on the budget. They're doing things together because this legislation, as you mentioned, was authored by both a Democrat and a Republican. Democratic Senator LaTonya Johnson and Republican Senator Jesse James, who they both also helped pass the original Prince Act. Nice. Now, Jesse James is interesting because he is the only legislator in the state who is an active law enforcement officer. So
really?
Jesse James has a little background in these things, and I know that sometimes we don't want to admit this, right? But Jesse James is a pretty great guy. So he does a lot for his community, a lot for mental health as well. Governor
and I love
Evers,
his name.
Yeah, I know, right? Governor Evers signed the expansion into law on March 6th, along with several other bipartisan bills. Now, under these new rules, Brian, alerts can be issued for children ages 10 or 11 if there are several conditions met, including the child's location is unknown. The alert is issued within 72 hours of a disappearance. The case does not qualify for another alert like an Amber Alert. The child is entered into the National Crime Information Center database, and authorities have enough information to release to the public to help locate that child. So there's a few things that, law enforcement are going to have to go through to make sure that they can get these, this out into the public. But at the end of the day, if you're talking about a missing child and this helps and law enforcement has a few more eyes, I don't think that's ever a bad thing when you're talking about a missing individual.
No, you got to get that. You got to get the information out. And so during the first year after the Prince Act was passed, 17 missing child alerts were issued for 14 children compared to about 4 Amber Alerts for 5 children during the same period. I know you research endlessly, and I did not see this, and now I wish I had done a little more. Do you know that the criterion between the differences between the criteria for a missing child alert and the Amber Alert, or what's why an Amber Alert only goes so far?
The missing child alerts are typically sent to phones within about a 5-mile radius of the child's last known location, usually between 8 a.m. and 9 p.m. Okay. The alert system can also be used for children up to the age of 18 who can't return home due to a physical or mental condition or a disability. I think when it comes to the Amber Alert, I think it's got to be... I don't know all the criteria, honestly. I think the
Amber Alert is when they do know, if they know where he's in this car, or the kid was left with their an estranged parent or whoever. So
there's
they have
a little bit more of a connection,
right? They have leads on the suspect, as opposed to just this missing child alert, which is more a general, hey, this kid's missing. We don't
Right.
know anything, but they're gone. So I think that's the key difference is that the Amber Alert, they have more information to put out there.
Right. And there's been some people who've been a little skeptical since this law was signed and when it first became a bill. These alerts don't replace police work, right? That was
No.
kind of some of the criticism that people had. Well, are the police going to still want to do the investigative work? What this bill does is essentially supports it, and they give investigators more information, more awareness in the community, and more chances to find a child quickly. And for families, that means not being told, hey, sorry, your kid doesn't qualify for this Amber Alert. So, there's not a lot we can do right now other than start the investigation process. For law enforcement, this is just another tool to really help do their job faster and more effectively and get more eyes and more community involved.
Exactly. How can you be opposed to more people being aware that there's a kid missing?
Well,
It's just more
there's
people. And there's nosy Gladys Kravitzes in every neighborhood that are looking out the window. Somebody in that area is going to get their phone and perhaps they just drove by some kid who was
Right.
walking down the street or
Yeah.
they saw something. So there's only so many police officers.
Right.
There's a
There's
lot
a few
more
things
regular
that they
citizens.
have to do. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And I think that was just it. I think for there were a few critics of this, and I think for those people, they just felt like maybe it took a little bit out of the police hands and put more in the community hands. But honestly, at this point, I think,
The
if you're
community
talking
has
about a
too
missing,
much time on their hands anyway.
right?
We need
If
something
you're
more
talking about a
constructive to
missing
do.
kid, let's be honest. This could be the difference between that kid not coming home and that kiddo coming home to their family.
Yeah.
So I think at this point, kudos for the bipartisan
Yeah,
support.
this is
Kudos to the
exciting.
governor for signing it. And anytime you can get a kid home, it's a good day, right?
It is a
it-
good day.
It is 6:29 right now. You are listening to Daybreak. I'm Jamie Martinson.
And I'm Brian Noonan. Hey, remember Doge? Remember how many jobs they cut? Well, they're trying to hire some people back. We'll talk about that and a lot more. It is the Civic Media Network.